Alright, this is a continuation of our tear down of our 302. We're going to take our timing cover off. I've done got the bolts loose. We've got two here, two here. Don't forget these two little ones up here. The water pump fit back here. It took two special bolts. Notice how flat the heads are on those. They're special. If you lose them, you probably have to special order them. Going to take them a couple of days to get in here at least, so you don't want to lose those if you can help it. I'll get a little bit more in depth with that. We've got four bolts down here that I haven't taken loose. They're two different sizes. Some of them will be either half or 13 millimeter and then a 10 millimeter. But just going to show you where these are at. They're up top here. A lot of people forget these two are up here and can't get this timing cover off and wonder what the crap's going on. They're the little short ones. All of our other bolts have been cleaned, bagged, and tagged already. Take those out. Always look at them, make sure they're the same size. Notice that these are different. They threaded here in case you needed a bracket or something to go on that. This bracket is supposed to come off. It's stuck to the timing cover, no biggie. I'll probably just leave it on there, to be honest with you. So we need to get these bolts loose, pop these loose, and then we'll take this timing cover off. Thought I was prepared, guys. You should know that I wasn't. Yeah, I should know that. Alright, so let's take our small ones off first. Say they should be 10 millimeter, 7/16. Got that one. Get this one over in the corner. That one. Swap sockets. That one. And that one. So there they are. Pretty easy to see that they're different sizes. Just don't want to get them confused. They a little bit different than the ones that come out of the top. A little bit longer. Got a shank on them. Alright, let's see what it's going to take to get this bad boy loose. Maybe not a whole lot. Just a little knocking. There's two dowels down here, and these timing covers get hung up on those dowels. Sometimes they get rusted up. Also, they're stuck here on the timing cover. So let's grab a screwdriver. Yeah, I know you're not supposed to use a screwdriver as a pry tool, but you see that? That's all this one's ever been. So that's why I keep it, so I can use it for my pry tool and not damage any of my other screwdrivers. Alright, we're about to come loose here. And come around on the other side. Pry that off. It's coming slowly but surely. Alright, there it is. Now all it's got us is the gasket. Rubber gasket. More rust. And there's our timing cover. That's the inside of it. We'll replace this seal. We'll take this to the machine shop, have them acid dip it, clean it, and it'll look good as new. Alright, this is your timing chain. Crank gear, cam gear. When you time these things, they've got a little dot. There's a dot here. I'm sure you can't see it. But notice all the flex. Now that chain will have some play, but Shouldn't have that much. So it's in need of a timing chain. Of course, it's going to get one anyway. It's going to get a high performance one. Notice the dials here. We'll leave them in. Sometimes they come out with the timing cover. They get stuck. No big deal. You can take a drift or a punch or something and knock them out. No big deal there. We need to get that off. That's our oil pressure sensor. We need to get that out of there. When they dip this block, it'll ruin that if we don't. So we need to get it out. We'll get it out, but let's knock this out first. Yep, not that size. Got every size but one of these. Should be a 9/16. We're not worried about keeping this in time or anything right now, because like I say, we're buying brand new. Buying high performance one. Double roller. Got different keyways for degree in the cam. Keep the cam bolt unless you're going to use something like an ARP aftermarket when it's better. This should just pop right off there, but it's going to make a liar out of it. So we will just kind of gently pry out on it a little bit. They get stuck. Who knows how many miles this thing's got on it? A lot, I can tell you that. We'll just pry around on it here a little bit. See if we can get it come our way. There's going to be a plate behind this. The 2 bolts holds our cam in place. Get a pry bar and get it. Want to be tankers. Like my students. It'll be an aggravation, isn't it? All my students are good when they're asleep. It's just kind of what they want to do in class if I let them go to sleep. It must be boring. You're probably thinking that about this video, but I'm doing the best I can. This stuff just does not pop off, and this is good for you to see. That stuff just doesn't fly apart all the time. You have to work with it, finagle it, and we'll pull out on that crank gear a little bit. There she comes. Crank gear should just slide off. See if I can show you the timing mark. See if you can see this. Notice I'm wearing gloves, which is highly unusual for me. I don't usually wear gloves. I just don't like them, but this oil is so nasty. Right here, right there, you'll see that timing mark. When this goes back together on a Ford, this timing mark has to go at 12 o'clock. And this timing mark right there, something just fell in the basement and scared the crap out of me. Thought Sasquatch had gotten me. That timing mark will be at 6 o'clock, just like that. And they should line up right like that. Those 2 timing marks should be dead in alignment when you put the cam in it. Okay? Doesn't matter taking it apart. We're taking it apart, so it doesn't matter. We'll throw this in the bin. Old part. Going home with the customer parts. You can go ahead and take them off probably. Again, don't have the right socket. I got a socket for that. So the next thing we're going to have to take out is the lifters. The lifters do just that, lift. They lift the push rod all those push rods, those tubes you saw. You push up on those. This is your cam plate. You have to make sure that it clears your timing chain. If you get a new high performance timing chain, sometimes it won't clear this plate and it'll dig into it, and then you got metal and oil and metal in the bearings, and that engine's not going to last very long. As you see right here, it says back and bottom right here. Hope you can see that. Get to where you can. Back, bottom. So that means right like that. You notice there's an oil hole here. That's what that's for. That blocks off the oil hole right there that I hope you can see. Alright, so keep these together. We'll bag and tag as later. You don't need to see me doing that. This is called a spider. Nickname is Spider. It is a lifter holder. Let me I want to readjust the camera so you guys can see. Alright. So whee, there you go. Alright. Get our bolts. This is our spider. What it does is hold down on what we call the wishbone, because it kind of looks like a wishbone to you know, a dog's wishbone or something. It says up. Yeah, maybe right there you can kind of see that up. That's side goes up, and what it does, lifters. Sorry. Hopefully these will come out. They've been in there a while. They've got a lot of sludge build up on them. It's starting to come. There we go. These lifters have a flat on it, and this slides right over that flat, and that way that the roller, this is a roller lifter. You'll say, some guys will say it's got a roller cam. This is what they're talking about. This is I got a roller. It spins. It's not just a flat piece of steel that rides on another piece of steel. We've got this roller, but be disastrous if it turns that way. So they've got this flat right there. Trying to look through the camera and watch this too, and that goes over the flats and holds those in place. That way they are exactly the way they need to be. Now if we were going to save these and going to reuse them, they have to go back in that hole. This one has to go here, that one has to go there. The same push rod has to be used, the same rocker arm on the head has to be used. Everything has to go back together exactly the way you took it apart. Don't grab that stuff, throw it in a bucket, and then come back later and say, I'll put it together and that doesn't run right, or I got metal and oil. That's why. These things build up a wear pattern, and they are mated together, so you want to keep them together. But in this case, we will keep the wishbones. All of these will keep the spiders. Lifters, they're going in the trash can as I take them out, because we're going a whole different route. We're going roller lifter, but we may use aftermarket lifters that are a lot more expensive, a lot better. This is a high performance engine. Everything over here. So as I take them out, they're going right in the canner. See if we can get these out. If I can get them up high enough, I can still get my cam out. Got a little oiling hole there that oils the cam and stuff. On some engines, that is critical. On the Fords, not so much. It really doesn't matter. But on some engines, that hole has got to go a certain way. It'll either point that way, or in some instances, back and forth. This is an oil galley. Oil flows through here and here to feed these things. They've got to be oiled, of course. And sometimes that is critical. Make sure you know which way that goes. Fords doesn't seem to matter. We're going to watch these and kind of see how they all come out. Looks like all of them, at least the ones I've taken so far, are facing towards the outside of the block. If you want to do it like that, that's great. But I usually just shove them in there, I'm going to be honest. and never had any issues, and we run the crap out of some of the engines that I built. So if some of my guys can't break it, it probably ain't gonna get broke, not easily anyway. I got some guys that tear up a wooden wedge with a toothpick, so if they can do it, you know, we're probably okay. Take out all our wishbones. I'm gonna clean these. One of the best solutions to clean stuff like this is white vinegar. You can get the vinegar at the supermarket. You can buy it at the supermarket. I've got an old Folgers coffee can, plastic coffee can. Drop them down in there, leave them a couple of days, wash them off, WD-40 them so they don't rust, and they look pretty good. I can't say they look brand new always, but they look pretty good. So let's see what we got here, see if we can get this and that. And I see this one, the oil hole is facing this way. This one, oil hole is facing that way. So even at Ford, they're not consistent. All the rollers look good, you know. If we were going to reuse this stuff, we'd want to know that condition. That'd tell us the condition of the cam. They're just stuck because this engine hadn't been running in a while. It's pretty obvious that this engine hadn't been running in a while. I may have to get some vicy grips or channel locks to get some of these out. Trying. Little Goobaloo from WD-40 or something might a little penetrating oil. It's coming there. It comes. They're just stuck from age. You know, they hadn't had oil on them in a while. Let me make our life a little bit easier. Have some PV blaster. Don't use this stuff much. You use air coil mostly, but don't want to wait. It's expensive. And PV blaster is much cheaper and should get the job done. So we'll use that on that. In there. See if that helps any. Didn't help on that much, did it? These are about as stuck of ones as I've dealt with in a while, but this engine's about as old as ones I've dealt with in a while. It's an 86 model block. It's quite a few years older than what I'm used to. Deal with 87 stuff a lot. I'll explain why in a minute. One of the things that makes these 86 model engines kind of undesirable for hot rodding is the flat top piston. It doesn't have any eyebrows for a bigger camshaft or anything like that. Just turn them around. A little lube and the proper tool, it makes this job a little bit faster. I don't know why y'all didn't do this to start with. I can't do it all. You guys need to do something. Even you distance learners, you should have came over here and did this. Well, I wouldn't have had to. As I'm watching these come out, that little oil hole is all different directions. So Ford just slapped them in there as well. I've heard a couple of guys say there's a certain position to put them, but I've never seen anything in the service manual about it. So Ford didn't say it needed it. It probably don't need it. Tell you what, I'm going to throw these. That little bag, that little trash can is going to get heavy with these things. They're not exactly like the little devils, aren't. So got a little bit of wear on that one right there. Hope you can see that. But not bad, just let them out. Something I wanted to show you a while ago, and is this water pump. when you get a water pump, you take the water pump out, you want to take this plate off. That's what these two little special bolts go to. Is down here, because they're going to be inside between this and the block, and so that's why the head is so skinny here. It's real slim. Some water pumps come with this plate, some do not. So take the plate off and keep it. Don't throw it in the trash can. You'll go buy a new water pump, you're not thinking, you throw this thing away. A week later you come back to get it, and all of a sudden you ain't got this plate, and that's obviously going to leak. So you got to have this plate. So make sure that you keep it. Keep these bolts especially. You can get those online, but then you're down for a week. You know, I like to keep old parts like this around till I get the new one, to make sure that you know, everything's going to line up. Got the same holes. Ford did all kinds of different things with water pumps. Some of them will look just like this on the outside, and then your little rotors that spin will be going the opposite direction. This one is made for counterclockwise rotation. You can't see it, but that's how that thing would spin. Of course, it's really spinning with the belt. It's really zinging around there, and it pumps fluid out through here and out through the passages, in through the block here, and that's how it cools. So let's get these out of the way. I'll put these in my Folgers bucket in preparation for some white vinegar. Mom and Dad drink a lot of coffee and they do use this. I've got all kinds of these things for this kind of stuff. Some put oil in to soak the lifters before you build it. Some for cleaning. All kinds of bags. I've got more Ziploc bags than anybody has a right to. But they come in handy for stuff like that. That's why you keep them. Alright, so I'm going to back you out here. Back this out. Next we're going to take this camshaft out.